Good day, I am Jonathan C. Estafia.
And I am Alaila S. Sapilin. Today, we will show you on how to analyze a data set using Wilcoxon Signed Rank Test. This time, we are not going to solve hand in hand, but instead, we will be using this app called AnalyStat to make our work easier and solve problems simply without hassles.
Wilcoxon Signed Rank Test is used when the sample sets of data is not normally distributed. Let's take this example. 10 grade 11 students randomly selected to attend a special mathematics class during summer. They were given pre-test to assess their prior knowledge on basic statistics, and then they were exposed to the intervention for 6 weeks. A post-test was then administered to evaluate the achievement level of the students attending the summer class in statistics.
Let us start solving these problems. First, open the app called AnalyStat. Since we have 3 choices, let us first choose and click the descriptive statistics. Let us input the data by adding 1 column. Since the respondents is consisting of 10, add row to 10.
We input all the data, let us now analyze. As you can see, there are many tables shown. All we have to do is to get the mean, standard deviation, minimum, and the maximum. Let's input all the data collected in our prepared table. N stands for the number of respondents for a total of 20, and then input all the data. After inputting the data, let us answer this question. Using the descriptive statistics, describe the performance of the class after the intervention. With this, students scored higher in post-test compared to the pre-test. Students scored 44.3 in post-test and 31.6 in pre-test. The question is, how are we going to interpret the mean and the standard deviation? If the data in standard deviation is lower than the other, it means the data is narrowly concentrated around the mean. This tells that the score shows a close from the mean. And if the standard deviation is higher than the other one, it means the data is spread out. This tells that the scores are not close around the mean. And now, let us answer the number 1 question. This is how we are going to interpret and explain the data. Based on the results, students got higher score of 44.3 in post-test and is spread out around the mean. On the other hand, students got score of 31.6 and is narrowly concentrated around the mean.
The next step we need to consider is to get the normality test. If the p-value is less than 0.05, the data is not normal. And if the data is greater than 0.05, the data is normal. We can consider the normality test of the data using the AnalyStat. Let us look for Shapiro-Wilk test and get the p-value. The p-value of pre-test is 0.0777, while the p-value of post-test is 0.0002. We can say that the data is not normally distributed by determining the past test. If the p-value of pre-test is true and the other is false, or vice versa, it means that the data is not normally distributed. Let us now answer the second question. Are the data normally distributed? What test will you use and why is it suitable? Let us answer it in a simple way. By But we need to consider the p-value of pre-test and post-test. The data are not normally distributed. Pre-test p-value 0.0777. Post-test p-value 0.0002. Parametric test will be used, specifically Wilcoxon Signed Rank Test.
After determining this, let us go back to where we choose the descriptive statistics by tapping the back icon. And now, we are going to click the inferential statistics. Let's choose Test to Use. Since our data is not normally distributed, let's click Wilcoxon Signed Rank Test. Let's not input anymore the data. All we have to do is click the Save Data Sets, then choose the data you use, the same as in descriptive statistics. And now, let's analyze. Since we need to consider the normality test using 0.05, click 0.05, then click Go. As you can see, there are new tables shown in this part. But first, we need to fill in the data needed in a prepared table. Let's input here the mean score and the SD of pre-test and post-test. To determine what is the Wilcoxon Signed Rank Test or the W value is to simply get the W value, which is 7.0. Next is the difference or the DF. So, how are we going to do this? Since the respondents is 20, all we have to do is to minus 2 from it, and it is 18. Next is the P. Let's just get the data below the statistical significance, which is 0.0415. And lastly, the interpretation. Since the result shows true, meaning there is a significant difference between pre-test and post-test.
Let us now answer the third question. Is there a significant difference between the assessment results of grade 11 in pre-test and post-test? We should answer it this way. There is a significant difference between the assessment results of grade 11 in pre-test and post-test. And let us include the p-value. With the p-value of 0.0415. And lastly, the fourth question. Did the performance of grade 11 improve? Let us answer it this way. Since the results shows a significant difference, the performance of grade 11 improved.
Always remember that Wilcoxon Signed Rank Test is used if the data is not normally distributed, and if the data is less than 0.05, meaning the data is not normal, and if the data is greater than 0.05, meaning the data is normal. Or else, determine directly the past test. If both shows true, then the data is normal and we no longer need to analyze it with Wilcoxon Signed Rank Test. But if the data shows true and false, it means that the data is not normally distributed, and Wilcoxon Signed Rank Test should be used to completely interpret the data. Once again, I am Jonathan C. Estafia.
And I am Alaila S. Sapilin.
Please visit this page in YouTube, subscribe, like, and leave a comment below for more updates.
Learn math with Mathusay
And Project Prime.
See you again in our next video tutorial.
Bye!